further driving under the influence is unabated. That seems to go pretty smoothly. Moving on further into 9, we've got, hi, Don, good to see
Hi,
you.
Don. Don, this is your last week in the office before your retirement. So why don't you relax a little bit this week? And why don't you, we got this new guy that's going to take over Points and Authorities. So why don't you just kind of relax for this week?
Oh, well, I appreciate it, but I mean, I've got the cases. We may as well keep going through them. I mean, you've got
Look, Don, you've been doing this and working at it, and I've seen you in the library reading the cases constantly for the last 19 years. Now, this is finally your last week, so why don't you just relax a little this week?
Well, I'm retiring. I'm not going into a rest home. They're not putting me away or anything. It's just, a few things to do here.
Listen, Don, you've been informing us and entertaining us for the last 19 years. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say a few words. And besides, I haven't been on Points and Authorities for several years. As a matter of fact, the last time that I was on, I reported on a terrible case. It was a terrible injustice that ruled that a pole barn out in the Altamont Pass was not a structure for the purposes of the burglary statute, and so that any thief could go in there and steal agricultural items less than $400 and escape with a misdemeanor. Do you remember that?
That was an outrage.
That was a complete outrage. Yeah. But now I have an opportunity to be on for a couple of minutes.
Well,
and there's a couple of
I
things
couldn't deny you that.
That I'd like to say to you. I think most folks know, Don, that you've been, now it's over 32 years in the DA's office. I think it came in February of 1968. And it actually was almost a second career for you, because I think you had almost 5 years in the Judge Advocate Corps in the Army.
Yeah.
And then you came to us, and I remember when I started in the office as a young deputy, there was one of our senior guys in Oakland Muni at that time, the way we were set up, that was putting on preliminary hearings constantly, and his name was Don Ingraham. And I learned a lot from him when I started in the office. And it was very interesting. I remember one peculiarity that you had, may he rest in peace, Bob Braverman, who was a public defender, that you went up against constantly. And Mr. Braverman kept wearing these kind of bizarre neckties, and you never found a transcript of a preliminary hearing where Don did not find a way to describe Bob Braverman's tie for the record.
Well, some of them were worthy of the record, I think, and worth, I think, putting in.
And they were, and it was some very creative ways used to get them into the record, and those were always pleasant things to review.
Good.
And I remember being down there, Don, when really the first computer fraud case came through, and Dick Hogner was working on it, and with all due respect to Dick, a bit confused over some of the electronic issues and some of the computer issues, and you basically carried the ball on that case, and that was the first prosecution for really a high-tech crime in Alameda County that you masterminded and saw through, and I remember that very well. Then over the years, as I said, for 19 years you've been doing this. You've been involved in video longer. I looked at your personnel file. It's like the who's who of law enforcement has thanked the Alameda County District Attorney's Office for making you available for training and for informing other law enforcement agencies about all different kinds of legal aspects, and of course the specialty in high-tech items. And it's been a pleasure for me, to at least for the last 30 years, to share your career with you. And if you go out in the world of law enforcement in California, Don Ingraham has really been the outreach person, the spokesperson for the Alameda County DA's office in training and in professionalizing what we do. And I know that I'm not speaking for just myself, Don. I'm speaking for Lowell Jensen. I'm speaking for Jack Meehan, and I'm surely speaking for myself when I say, thank you, Don. it's been marvelous having you. I just wish there was some way that we could make you go on forever, but we all walk off into the
Into it,
sunset
yeah.
at some time. And I join with everyone in the office in wishing you, a long, happy, and healthy retirement. So you'll always be with us. We'll always remember you. You'll always be part of the lore of the Alameda County DA's office. But Don, there's one favor I'd like to ask of you before you go.
Sure, anything.
Yeah, we got this new guy that's going to try and fill your shoes, and this new guy is going to need some direction. So I'd appreciate it very much if you could sit down with this new guy and meet with him and kind of give him an outline of how you approach this and how you go about this, so that hopefully that he'll be able to maintain at least some semblance of the professionalism and the depth in which you handle these matters. So if you just agree with me, and please do me the favor
no
of meeting
problem,
with this
no.
new guy.
Sure, be glad to. Anybody you want to send in?
Great, we'll set that up then, Don.
Okay, if you would.